1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move, whatever click you.
So once again, we back with the big fella, man, reacting to another video. Of course, the title of this video is Mexican Blood Hits the Yard. Southsiders attack immediately, man. So let's hop right into it.
Welcome to another episode, everyone. A blood hit the yard that was a Mexican, a Hispanic in Lancaster in 1996. And the yard exploded into a bloody melee between the Southsiders and the blacks. And it was indeed bloody and explosive. Well, it happened rather quickly. Now, at the time on this yard, there was a gate on the yard separating the buildings. It was a level 4 yard. However, buildings 1, 2, and 3 were separated by a gate on the yard from buildings 4 and 5.
Now, of course, for anyone who's not familiar by now, he said this was 1996. I heard it's different now. I don't know 100%. But in 1996, the Southerners were not going for any person who was a Mexican functioning as a Crip or a Blood or with the blacks in any capacity. So the second that Mexican blood hit the yard, everybody on the yard who had any common sense already know it was about to get ugly.
Buildings 4 and 5 is on one side of the yard programming, and the other buildings are on the other side of the gate, thus the other side of the yard programming. And everyone is getting along just fine. There have been a few spats by this juncture between the blacks and the Southsiders, because really Lancaster is what you would call a black man's prison. High Desert is what you would call a white man's prison. All of the COs are white. The sergeants, lieutenants, captains, the warden, white. In Lancaster, it's just the opposite. All of the COs are black. The sergeants, lieutenant, warden, assistant warden, the person who runs the laundry, the people who work in the kitchen, the people who work in the canteen, all of the so-called free staff, they're all essentially black.
Now, the reason Lancaster is in a predominantly black prison because Lancaster, the prison itself, is within close proximity to Los Angeles. So you have a lot of, Crips and Bloods and even Southsiders from Los Angeles who are in prison trying to get sent to Lancaster to make it easier to facilitate a visit, and then of course you have a lot of blacks who live in these surrounding cities outside of outside of Los Angeles, not too far, like maybe 35, 40 minutes. I don't know exactly how far Lancaster is from LA, but it's not too far, maybe 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. You have those individuals. They are also employed as staff in correctional positions known as free staff, just civilians who are working there. So yes, Lancaster was sometimes known as Chocolate City because it was a lot of blacks there.
A couple, of course, other races there that are COs, a couple, but for the most part, dominantly, they are black. So naturally, the blacks there are getting a little bit more favor than others. For the most part, black people are not racist. Black COs are not racist. So they're not going to go overboard and be supplying blacks with knives and things of that nature for the most part. But you have some individual COs who are showing some blacks some more love. So as a result of this, there's been a couple of little spats with the Southsiders because, they won't end on some of the things that's going on, etc. However, at this particular time, when this situation transpired, everything is kosher on the yard. Everything is peaceful and going along just fine, other than the regular politics that beset a level 4 prison yard. There is violence on the yard. People are being removed from the yard. People are being unalived on the yard. But it's really all in-house. It's your own people transgressing against a rule or a protocol, and then you handle that individual. There's nothing between the races. There's no violence between the races or the inmates versus the police, etc. It's really just people cleaning up their own backyard. The police oftentimes are okay with this because they understand that if you do not clean up your own backyard, it could lead to bigger problems, more intense violence between the faction sections, races, gangs, etc. if someone does something in your faction and you do not address it immediately.
Now, let me pause the video right there and just add real quick. He said that at times the staff, the correctional officers, the administration don't have a problem with people cleaning up their backyard. 100% true. I seen the guard at one point in time said, hey, you guys got some business to handle. I'm going to be over here making some coffee at 12 o'clock. Just don't kill him. You got X amount of time. And I say all that to say that a lot of times you have people saying, hey, man, you guys, you're telling these prison stories and you guys are giving the officers information. Believe me, for as long as there have been for as long as there have been prisons in California, you've also had inmates, I'll say inmates, relaying information to the staff. So the staff have been doing time as long as convicts have been doing time. So there's nothing they do not know. They may not know who's doing it at that exact moment inside the prison, but they know what's going on. It's just a matter of catching it. So just revealing the going ons of everyday prison life is nothing new. These officers are there often, they're on an 8-hour shift, then they'll work overtime. So after a while, they get to pretty much see, observe, hear, and find out what's going on. So there's really no real information being revealed in any of these prison stories.
So everything is okay on the yard and everything is kosher. We are getting along just fine with the Southsiders at this juncture. They're getting in and have been in on some of the things that's going on with the blacks on the yard as far as making money. I'm not going to dive too much in this video into some of the things that was going on. I'll get into it at a later date. But a lot was going on in the prison at this time. They were in on it, so they were cool. And there were some strong individuals there from different hoods that were black. Some very strong individuals. However, the blacks at this time, as always really, were just not structured and were not organized. Strong individuals, and you had strong cars even, strong factions. 3 and 4 and 5 people out of this car are guerrillas, strong individuals, wielding knives, and will take care of business, pushing black power, pushing their gang, what have you.
And I just made a comment. I did a video the other day saying, were there any black politics, right? Because you had, and I don't like to pussyfoot around and be nervous, like I don't want to say names when I'm talking about certain individuals. You had Dub say that he said, chill, you as a black person, you guys don't have politics. But in other videos, he have stated that the blacks do have politics. So depending on how angry he is, it changes what he has to say. And that's something that's wishy-washy because the truth is the truth, right? But I was saying that in my comment, when somebody said the blacks don't have politics as a whole, and I was explaining to him that you do have some cars who are highly structured, and you may have other cars on that yard who are not as structured as this particular car. So it's not that blacks don't have structure. They do have structure. It's just not mandatory that every black on the yard program the same way as you do with other races in prison. And I'll be the first to say that is something that hurts the blacks, as opposed in relation to unity. You have to be on the same wavelength when matters of life and death arise, and you can't get on the same wavelength in a matter of seconds. It has to be automatic. Everybody has to know what's going to happen. And so that's definitely something that definitely hurts the blacks.
But they're not organized. The blacks on the yard are not connected. They're strong individually, and again, certain factions are strong, but as a collective, a community, not strong, not structured, not organized. Hispanic hits the yard, a Mexican. And he was a blood, I believe he was from Piru. He was from Compton. And he was pure Hispanic. But he had tattoos bearing his hood that was a blood gang. I don't remember exactly where he's from, but he was a blood, for sure. And when he hit the yard, he came onto the yard through the gate with all of his property. And you can really just see the yard almost stop. And everyone stopped and started staring at him. You can
and it's crazy, right, to be on yards in that situation. I've been on yards in that situation, or just yards where situations will occur that will cause everybody to stop and look. It goes quiet. It's almost like the basketball and the handball stop bouncing. People stop running. Damn near like the birds stop chirping. The crickets even stop, what I'm saying, doing their stuff. They looking, seeing what's going on. Some of these yards, they have little, gophers and stuff. The gophers pop out their head, they hold, they looking around. It's very eerie when you have all these men on the yard stop. That's when you know something is getting ready to get ugly in prison. Silence. When it's not the normal bustle and rustle of the yard, that's when man, something has gotten everybody's attention. And that's when the yard just feels, it's hard to explain, but it's almost like a cloud is rolling over the yard, man. And your heart gets to thumping, it gets to beating, even if the situation don't involve you, right? Because something's about to happen. But of course, this situation right here, if you are Mexican and you are black, you are involved.
Tell something was off. You can tell immediately that this dude was rocking with the blacks or whatever. Though you can also tell from the get-go that he was clearly Hispanic. The Southsiders approached him. "What's up, home? Where you from?" And he aggressively said, "Hey, I'm not your homie. I'm not a homie, whatever. I'm not Southside, bro. I'm whoop-de-whoop from whoop-de-whoop. I'm a blood." But he said it aggressively. And many people will argue that you have to say this aggressively. If you are of a certain race.
Man, I hate to keep interrupting, man, but it's some certain things I have to say, man. Because I haven't seen this at all. First and foremost, when somebody hits you up and asks you where you're from, like he's saying, it's a banging custom to reply aggressively. That's just, I don't know who started the custom, but that's what it is, man. Somebody hit you up, "Hey homie, where you from?" "Hey homie, I'm from whoop-de-whoop, I'm from East Side," what I'm saying. You bang and you let them know, just in case this dude has a problem. You let them know, "Hey, this is where I'm from." Secondly, I want to say that Mexican blood, even to come to a 4-yard, being a blood, and of course being Mexican, he has to know the atmosphere that he's walking into, right? So he has to have some amount of heart, because he already has to know what's getting ready to happen, right? So I'm definitely interested in to see how this plays out, see if he stands 10 toes down or whatever, because he has a big amount of heart already, in my opinion, just hitting the yard under those circumstances. So let's go on.
but you are claiming the gang of a different race, and that race that you are from originally, your ethnicity, they approach you, and say, "What's up, man? Where you from?" or whatever. You have to be strong in your response. You have to own it. You have to wear it. If this is what you are, this is what you representing, you're not with them, you have to let that be known. You have to draw that line immediately. You cannot straddle the fence. You also have to be careful. This is not the county jail. And the Southsiders here, well, really, they're not going to tolerate any sort of disrespect, really, from anyone, and particularly from their own people who is acting like he is not one of them. He is not one of their people. They already take umbrage to the fact that he has hit the yard and he is riding with the blacks. He is a blood. But if they were willing to let it go, that was out of the window. When they approached him, again, asked him where he was from, is he with them or whatever, however they approached, and he aggressively said, "Man, basically don't get at me no more. Letting y'all know now, I'm a blood." Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? The Southsiders basically said, "Okay, all right," and walked off. And as they're walking off, you can see they're talking and they're doing whatever. And their homeboys are on their side of the yard. All of the Southsiders on their side, in their area, in their section. It's all segregated in there, as I've said before. They're over there on their side. The blacks are playing basketball on the court. They're everywhere on the yard as well, but in our own areas, in our own sections, scattered out throughout the yard in our areas. The Southsiders go over there and they start meeting up really rapidly. They did not waste time in their conversing and clearly going over this, and apparently decided to disperse and continue the conversations later, not out in the open, to go back inside of the buildings and communicate with one another. And clearly they had made a decision rather quickly that this individual, this Mexican blood, this Hispanic Peru, this Hispanic blood that just hit the yard and got at them aggressively,
had to
on
go.
top of being a Hispanic representing a black gang, had to go, and had to go rather quickly, immediately. They were not going to tolerate him being on the yard even for one day. However, this dude is a blood. He's affiliated. He's a member. He's connected. And there's some strong bloods on the yard. There's some strong Crips on the yard. Some strong blacks on the yard. Again, individually, but together, we are not that strong because we are not together. Everyone knows and recognizes this. We're fractured. We are not a unit. There's no unison amongst us then, before then, or now. And people take advantage of that very fact. They conversed and decided this guy had to go. And essentially, the very next day, come out to the yard, and instead of the blacks being prepared with their eyes open, everyone has communicated with the whole yard in our own way, passing kites, etc., speaking in Swahili, what have you, to communicate the fact that there is now tension on the yard, extreme tension, that someone just hit the yard that is riding with the blacks. However, he is not black. That the Southsiders may indeed try to attack, and instead of the head honchos, the individuals tasked in charge with leading and directing, saying, be prepared, be on your toes, everyone arm themselves, or saying, let's attack them first because we know it's coming, or whatever. They're out there in the yard playing around as if nothing ever happened, as if this dude has not just hit the yard the day before. They're out there on the yard playing basketball, reminiscent of the riot that transpired that I spoke about in High Desert State Prison between the blacks and the whites. When the whites attacked, the blacks were out there on the yard, severely outnumbering the whites. However, they were playing basketball, playing cards at the tables, playing dominoes, working out, shooting the breeze, instead of being prepared and structured and organized and people on point and having security on them, etc. Same thing was happening right here on the yard in Lancaster. The dude that hit the yard the day before. Apparently no one got the memo that they don't want him here on the yard.
Now, to me, that's incredulous, right? And it's a damn shame, man, how this Mexican blood could hit the yard. Dudes are, you know, Crips and Bloods, people from the Bay, wherever, highly aware of the prison climate, right? And I don't think you had all Crips and Bloods on that yard, not on their P's and Q's. Honestly, there should have been no Crips and Bloods, wherever, individuals who participated with any black car on that yard, not doing anything other than being aware, man. Dudes know the political climate, right? And they should have known that was something that the Southsiders is just not going to accept, right? And so it's mind baffling how dudes would go to the yard in a situation like this and do anything except be on point and put their safety first. Basketball, handball, canteen, going to the store, making phone calls, exercising, walking laps, playing pinochle, chess. All that stuff for me is out in a situation like this, man. I am paying 100% attention because, you know, when they go to attack this Mexican blood, they're not just going to attack him, right? They're going to attack him. Maybe you have a couple of the black sea. They're going to run over there. Then it just turns into a full-scale riot. So you're in it whether you want to be or not. If you happen to be Mexican or black, you could be a Crip, you could be a non-affiliate. You are in it. So when that Mexican blood hit the yard, to be honest, there was only two things a black Crip or blood should have done. You should have went in the house and got strapped up and came to the yard, or you should have went in the house and stayed in your cell. And the second option, of course, is frowned upon, and they're going to get you for that. So really, it's only one option. At a time like that, you have to put your safety first. And that's something that would always have me mesmerized and baffled when situations like that would occur, and dudes would come out to the yard and do anything other than be on point.
That this is a potentially dangerous and volatile situation. They're carrying on as if it's programmed as usual and programmed as normal. Playing basketball, as I said, dominoes, playing cards, some people over here working out, etc. They still had weights on the yard at this time. No, actually, they just took the weights from Lancaster. They just took the weights out. They still had the weight pile right there with the gate still around it. They just took the weights out, though. But everybody's out there on the yard. And there's some mumblings. Some blacks, of course, are paying attention, especially the Bloods. They know what's going on, that this dude just hit the yard, and that he got at them aggressively. The Southsiders are not saying anything. They're not coming to the blacks saying, man, this dude got to get off the yard, or he disrespected us. We don't want to, they're not giving the blacks a chance to take care of it, to handle it. So the blacks are in the blind. They shouldn't be in the blind. I'm not making any excuses. They should not be in the blind. This dude hit the yard. He's a Hispanic. That's a blood that's riding with the blacks. Automatically, everyone should know, potentially dangerous, volatile situation. Be prepared, be on your toes, and if you sense any tension, if you sense any hostility, be the first to attack. Go on the offensive. Nevertheless, yard is going on, and within 20 minutes of being on the yard or so, the Southsiders, they attacked. They attacked the blacks that were scattered around on the basketball court. Now remember, it's only 3 buildings on one side of the yard and 2 buildings on another side of the yard. So everyone is not all out there together. The gate is separating them. So it's, you know, the numbers are not that off. But the numbers are somewhat off because for the most part, the blacks are not prepared. However, Southsiders attack and they immediately attack the Hispanic. That's the blood. They get on him quickly. He was a target. I know how these targets work. I've been a target of the Southsiders. I know how it works. He was a target. And not only was he a target, someone else who they felt like was a threat on the yard. They targeted him. You know this, you can see this, because 3 or 4 of them got on this individual, 3 or 4 of them got on the Hispanic blood. They wanted him, they was trying to unalive this individual. They wanted to send a message, you cannot hit one of these yards and be our people and be riding with them.
Now, so as we hear the big fella talking, he's talking about the strategic planning that the Southerners put into play in their mission to get this dude up off the yard. And this is why I say that the unity hurts, right? Because when you don't have a plan and you are fighting on the defense, it is hard to mount a efficient response to what's going on, especially when you have dudes playing dominoes, playing basketball, playing chess. You know, everybody is not going to respond the same, especially when you are being attacked. You know, I've been in situations where me and some of my homies have been the aggressors, right? And the response is different. You're going to have some dudes take off running. I don't care what a person says, right? You have to be trained in combat and just extremely used to, you know, these type of situations if you are going to immediately reply with a physical response. The most human nature response is, of course, fight or flight. Most people, even if you only run 3 or 4 feet just to see what's going on, you have to get your bearings and see what's going on, right? Because you got to keep in mind that in prison, unless you're running on the track, there's no running in prison. There's rules. You cannot be running. And so this causes convicts to be used to not running. So when you hear footsteps coming, you're going to automatically turn around and see what's going on because you're not used to running. So of course you see somebody running at you, you know, you're automatically going to get attacked, right? So it's only human nature to try to put some distance between yourself and this person that's running towards you, right? And so by the blacks not being in concert about what they're going to do, everybody's back against the wall, everybody, you know, having knives, everybody, you know, playing. That's why a surprise attack is always efficient, because no unity, no unity, no put together plan. Ridiculous.
Yeah. This has also happened on the black side as well. I'll get into that at some point, because this is just the mindset of people for the most part. I don't care what they say. When you are of one race, but you're claiming the gang of another race. The only thing that ended up making the riot somewhat salvageable for the blacks, where they just didn't lose a lot of face because they were getting attacked, they were ill prepared, just like in Pelican Bay, just like in High Desert. Don't hate me. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you what the fuck is going on these damn prison yards. Too busy fighting each other. Too busy hating each other. Too busy stabbing each other to be organized with each other against other people who want to do us harm.
And once again, you know, of course, me being black doing time, that's just something that I just could not understand, you know. Being in prison continually and seeing these things go on, man, why we as a people couldn't realize, hey, man, you know what? We're going to put our issues to the side. If we want to beef with each other, we'll do that back when we get to the street. Right now, there are bigger and more important issues, man. It's crazy because I ran into some extremely well-respected intelligent individuals, man, and dudes who had a lot of say so and connection and pull from whatever section they was from. And some of these dudes, you know, studied history and all these different type of philosophies, and it just seemed like there still was never enough unison and common sense, man. And you had certain individuals make connections and build rapport with certain people, right? But at the end of the day, it was always still division, man, and which only made us all more susceptible to being harmed and victimized, hurt, and potentially killed when situations like this occur. Because regardless of how long you're in prison, if you're on a 3-yard or a 4-yard, even a 2-yard or maybe a 1-yard, at some point in time, there is going to be racial strife. And if you guys don't have unison and strategies, it's not going to end up good.
Yeah. The only thing that saved it somewhat was when the Southsiders were attacking, a couple of blacks ended up running. They ran because they were ill prepared. Some blacks had knives on the yard just naturally, prepared to use them on another black. But they had knives on the yard, not for the Southsiders. They didn't even think anything was about to kick off, even though they know that this individual just hit the fucking yard. They too busy on the yard smoking Snoop Dogg and playing basketball. No one's really paying attention. But some of them were armed because, again, some strong individuals are here on the yard at this time. So when a couple of the blacks ran, you can say that it was strategic on their part. I think they just ran. But they ran, and a couple of Southsiders chased them. And when the blacks were running, of course they're running to where the crowd of blacks are at. They're running to their own people. They're running to safety. You're not trying to run into a crowd of Southsiders who are out here wielding knives and trying to take your head off. You're trying to get somewhere where your people at, with some people that got your back at. So they run into the crowd where it's more of a crowd of blacks at. And when they ran over there, the Southsiders, they left their people, who, you know, their bigger crowd is over here. So when they're chasing them with knives, they left their people. The blacks, there's some blacks over there with knives. They came out and they started hitting the two Southsiders that were chasing the blacks. And they got them on the ground. They got the two Southsiders on the ground that had been chasing the blacks because they got them away from their group now. And so they going to work on them. There's a lot of stabbing going on out here. But the Southsiders, they got the Hispanic dude, that's the blood. They got him over there on the ground, and he's bleeding bad. You see blood all over his shirt, blood all over his face. He's leaking. The Southsiders also have blood on their shirt and their face. The ones that was just chasing the two blacks, because the blacks are over there going to work on them. But they got a couple of blacks over there as well, the Southsiders do, and they're going to work on him. And they're going to work on them, particularly the one that they were after, the target, and the other one that they felt like was a threat. They were able to get him away from the crowd immediately. They waited to attack when he was not by the black crowd because he was a target. It was all strategic on their part.
Now, some people may be wondering why this other individual, not the Mexican blood, but whoever Damien was saying that it was obvious he was a target. People may be wondering, well, why did they target him? You know, he wasn't a Mexican blood. Well, obviously, he was targeted because at some point in time, while he was on the yard before the Mexican blood appeared, he had some type of organizational skills and some type of strength that made the Southerners feel that this dude is a powerful dude, that this dude is a dude who can pull these dudes together in some shape or form, right? And basically, without his presence, the blacks would be even weaker, which kind of just goes to show that obviously they felt that this dude was a politicker. He had some prison experience enough to, just like when two armies are fighting, you know, if you can get rid of the general, you can get rid of the dude that's issuing the orders, then of course they're going to be less organized. So, and those are things that happens in these type of situations. You know, there's an old saying, of course, if you kill the head, then the body will die. And so that's why this individual was targeted, because of his perceived strengths that he had in his prison experience.
And basically, no one is getting down. As far as the police, get down, stop. They shooting the stuff on the yard. They're not shooting the real guns yet. They're just shooting the mace. They got block guns and mace. They use other measures first before they come out with the guns, depending on the situation. And right now, they're not shooting down on the yard with the rifles. They're just shooting the gas down there, the mace, and shooting the block guns, hitting people. So no one is still getting down yet. It got to a situation where basically it was a trade-off where the blacks are saying, let him go, let the dude from Peru go, and then we'll let them go. It's like they had him, the dude, or the blood, I don't know if it was Peru, the blood, they had him as hostage over there stabbing the shit out of him, bro. He went from brown to red. He had blood everywhere, stabbing him up. But the more they're stabbing him up, the more the blacks are getting angry. They got the Southsiders away from their people, and they're getting on in. So the Southsiders start coming, they're rushing forward a little bit to come and save their people. And we got a chance to go in there and try to save Peru now as well. And so basically when they're getting closer, the blacks are getting closer, the blacks are just saying, let them, tell your people stop, get up off of them, and we'll let them go. Because this shit is over by now anyway. We're about to get out, but it's over. Police run onto the yard from these other yards, and alarm then went off. There's gas all in the yard. Everybody been hit with the block gun. People stabbed up, bloody, tired, breathing hard, running, laid out, everything. It's over. We've been out here going at it for a minute now. So just saying, before y'all try to finish him off, because it's about to be over, let him go, and we'll let them go. And they got up off of him, and the blacks got up off of the Southsiders, and that was it. Everybody laid down, and it was nasty. It was absolutely bloody out there on the yard. There was blood everywhere on the basketball court and such. And the blacks, again, yes, were slipping at first, but they were able to recover and redeem themselves, if I'm being honest. Really, because the Southsiders ran over there, really broke ranks, lost their connection, lost their group, and was isolated. And that really evened the odds right there. Before that happened, it wasn't looking good for the home team. But the blacks recovered, responded quickly, strongly for people who were obviously not prepared. But still, it should have never happened, should have been prepared with something like that. When they come on the yard and you're from another race, you can almost count on something going down, particularly on a level 4 prison yard. This was bloody, and many people did get hurt in this riot right here. People got hurt. People got stabbed up badly. It was blood out there. This was a bloody, gruesome riot right here. You have to be careful. You have to be safe. You have to be free, man. Stay free, people.
And that's crazy right there, right? And until you have witnessed some of these things, man, you really don't necessarily know just the total effect. Anybody who says, man, that they enjoy these type of situations and they don't have some type of reservation into going into these situations, I definitely believe he's a liar, man, because anything can happen in a situation like this, right? You got so many people, fighting, running, stabbing. You could be stabbing somebody and somebody come behind you and stab you. There is no way to really protect yourself in a riot when it's hundreds of people out there on the yard, right? And then add in the other dangerous equation that you have guards in the towers potentially shooting, lethal weapons, mini 14s with a 223 round. So yeah, it's a dangerous situation, man. I wanted to hear more about the Mexican blood. What was he doing right before this stuff kicked out? Was he on point? Was he ready? Did he have a weapon? What did he expect when, he was approached by the Southsiders and he banged on them, basically told them, you know, I'm blood and, you know, I don't ride with y'all. What did he expect was coming? You know, I just assumed that even before he went to prison by being a Mexican, even though he was a Mexican who was a blood, he knew, you know, some people had obviously had to let him know, hey man, you know, if you ever go to prison and you function with the blacks, you are going to be in severe trouble. Damien didn't give us any information on, you know, if the blood was prepared or whatever, man. And so I would have liked to hear more about that. But hey, sometimes you don't have that information. You know, sometimes you are, you know, you got what you got. But anyway, man, that's Damian Porter with the inside story. You guys already know who the big fella is, man. Check him out. And once again, it's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.
I swear in my own lane. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. Nigga, and ain't shit gonna change.
Them crackers let me out the gate, now the pressure's on. We about to get this shit straight like a pressing comb. The wrong cat to get aggressive on. I bring the bitch up out of niggas while you think they got them dresses on. My reach long and that's the best type. To have some dirty white boys come and smoke you like a meth pipe. And leave your chest bright red like a fire truck. Kicking your mom's door at night, nigga, and tie her up. I'm wild as fuck and I'm respected by the new youth. I put this pistol in their ear like a Bluetooth. I blow their brains on their new coupe. And have red everywhere just like a function full of soup whoops. Tell your troops I deal with beef like a butcher. My 4-5 pump more guys than Ashton Kutcher. Line pusher, quick to bury your clown. Nigga, I stayed in the park like the merry-go-round. Get it?
That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. Oh, you niggas don't know my name. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. I'm out here doing my thing. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. I swear in my own lane. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. Nigga, and ain't shit gonna change.
I shook the coward on his hook cause it was hustle time. Only busted that you'll see me fucking with his Buster Rhymes. You spoken meth and doing lines like a dope fiend. Living foul, telling lies, hide behind a smoke screen. I'm trying to get rich by any means, except for turning to a bitch, being a snitch, or rocking skinny jeans. And a couple other things I disagree with. A lot of y'all tripping me, I'm sticking with this G shit. My heat spit, I get loony with the rifle. Riding by myself like I'm on a unicycle. I'm bad like Michael, no Randy, no Tito. I never been a bitch and I can put that on me though. First nigga trip, I'm on his ass like a Speedo. My 4-5 clapped and it's a rap, burrito. I leave you in a fetal position, I spark fast. I'm just trying to get green like the east side park grass. And the march don't ask if I might clap. I had life and now I'm home and they don't like that. I'm right back like I left something. Like I told your bitch to hold my dope sack and she kept something. Bet something if you think I left the strap at home. That bitch stayed with the kid like a chaperone. And I'm prone to put my mask on and spin the block. Hit my target spinning round. That's how you judge round the ops. Laying down, call the cops. Now it's lots of yellow tape. I'll never box my op unless they pay me what Canelo make. I'm a shooter, boy. I blaze shit up for Carmelo's sake. Niggas talking, acting tough, but sweeter than some yellow cake. I don't take one bite. Play with me, gunfight. A nigga come for me on mama's cuz he better come right. If not, seal casket. No more sunlight. Smoke shop. Yeah, I got way more than one pipe. You will never fuck with me. Pussy, you the nun type. You report shit after it happened, walk the crunk kite. I'm a mentor, war instructor, sensei. A nigga who was really in the field like Kunta Kinte.
That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. Oh, you niggas don't know my name. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. I'm out here doing my thing. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. I swear in my own lane. That gang greasy, bitch, that gang need me. Nigga, and ain't shit gonna change.
Yeah, I kept you on the hook, cause you's a motherfucking hook. You fraudulent ass, 100-yard dash, dope fiend, Jason run fast, motherfucker.
I almost got you at the AM/PM, boy.
I ain't gonna lie, man, I've been watching YouTube lately. Watching Serena Williams, so I can get the perfect backhand. So when I see you, I'ma slap the taste out your motherfucking mouth, boy. You know what you did. Fucked you up, sucker.
You should've told me you had a problem, Jason.
I'ma get you, boy.
Jason,
I'ma get you, boy.
only
Run,
hoes
Forrest,
proud of
run,
they nose,
motherfucker.
Jason.
Run, Forrest, run, motherfucker.
Jason. I could've took
Lace
you
them
to
tennis shoes up tight.
I could've took you to count.
Bitch, slap your ass with all my might.